I'm Dan Potter, and I'm a molecular biologist at the University of Maastricht, and I'm also a comic writer. And I write a comic called Walking the Lethe. It's a free internet comic. I post 2 pages a week on our website. It's about a man who's attempting to get his wife back from heaven. And I'm a molecular biologist. Why the heck am I writing a comic? Well, when I was back in grad school 6 years ago, I had a revelation. And it was a very depressing revelation. I realized that science alone just wasn't going to fulfill me. I had a deep-seated urge to create stories, characters, and if you submit stories and characters that you made up to a peer-reviewed journal, it's not so good. And if you somehow make a character in a lab, well, then you have torch-bearing mobs showing up at your door, and that's not so good either. So I had been ignoring this impulse. I had always had this impulse, but no, I will be a scientist. And I had been drowning this impulse in junk food like role-playing games, which I still love, and video games. And by ignoring this, I caused a conflict in myself that contributed to me getting an ulcer at the ripe old age of 23. So I needed to change. I needed to make creating something a priority. And I had focused my entire education on science, which had given me this great understanding of the things inside a cell and a great set of tools for understanding these things. But to try and use these tools that I had in a creative endeavor, well, you can drive a nail into a board with a microscope, but it's not a good idea. So I was facing this, I had to, about face, and I had to start somewhere. So what do? You start creating. You pick up a pen, you open a book, and you start. One word at a time. And you suck, but that's the way it works. There is, next slide. Now, I wanted to create comics. Now, that's a bad idea, but if this impulse was rational, then I wouldn't be doing it. Now, I draw not much better than my cat. So, I asked my wife to draw for me. That worked out real well. So I said, okay, I want to write. I can write novels, right? Novels are easy. They're just words on a page, but they're very long. And I'm easily distracted. And the problem with that, you can be distracted as long as you come back to your work. But I'd come back and say it's crap and deleted it. And so I started getting all these chapter 1s. And they just start building up. And I realized I'm becoming a person who starts things but never finishes them. And you're not going to get anywhere doing that. So I said enough. I had to take one idea. And the idea was called Undone. And it eventually turned into Walking the Lethe. And I decided I'm going back to my original ambition and I'm making this idea into a comic. Now, I can't draw, so what I had to do was invest in my idea. I had to take money and give it to the comic. I hired an artist. And suddenly, it's important. It's now, I've invested something I cannot get back from it. And it's a never-ending cycle. You have to keep going. I've invested enough in this story that we've had to push back ideas for buying a house or other long-term financial goals for this story. And I'm okay with that because now I can say I'm a creator. And motivation is no longer a problem because I have to keep going. I can't stop. There's no way. Every hour, every day, I'm putting more and more effort, time, and money into this. And that's a great motivator. You can't turn back from that. And distractions, well, I can look at them and go back to writing because I have deadlines now. Deadlines are wonderful. And once you don't have those distractions, once you realize what is important, you can come home and work on something and look forward to that. And it's paying off, slowly, surely. We have our first book at the printer now. It's 120 pages of my writing. It's a very small run, but you're always looking towards the future. We're growing. We get comments out of the 10,000 web comics on the web. People come and tell me occasionally that ours is one of the best out there. And that means something when there's so many comics. Is it perfect? Nah. But every day it gets better. Every day I'm learning how to do things. And the masterpiece is out there, and I'm telling an entertaining story. So I want to tell you, don't be afraid to invest in your creativity. Don't be afraid of investing in yourself. Thank you.